Two of the biggest sports stars in the world, yourself and Caitlin Clark. Describe this atmosphere.
It's crazy. I mean, that first tee was something out of a book almost. But it's so fun. It's cool to see how many people she brings together to another sport, and it's fun to hang out with her. She's super cool. You know, we saw each other actually last week at an outing, yeah, I mean, it's nice to be alongside greats. I mean, even her teammates are super fun, so it's been a blast so far.
In one single day, the sport of golf exposed a truth the WNBA has been desperately trying to hide. Caitlin Clark stepped onto a golf course and received more respect from total strangers than she got from her own league all season. The difference isn't just noticeable, it's embarrassing. And it begs the question, what does the LPGA understand about building a sport that the WNBA is completely failing to grasp?
And the LPGA Tour are so smart in doing this because they pair up Caitlin Clark with Nelly Korda, who was the #1 player in the world until this summer. She suffered an injury. And Lauren Wynn, who is also playing on a sponsor's exemption, just turned pro. She was a 2-time All-American at Northwestern. So not only are people going to see Caitlin Clark and get to enjoy that and all the buzz around it, but they're also going to see the product itself, which are these professional female golfers like Nelly Korda, like the future of the game in Lauren Wynn. So it's a really smart way to tie it all together. Caitlin Clark brought a couple of her teammates, Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham, to be her honorary caddies. Golf is fully leaning into bringing these celebs in, and it's awesome for where.
The moment Caitlin Clark arrived at that Pro-Am, something shifted. The LPGA did in 24 hours what the WNBA couldn't manage in months. They treated her like the asset she is, not a problem to be managed. Golf legends didn't just tolerate her presence, they celebrated it. And by the end of this, you'll see why this wasn't just a friendly gesture. It was a masterclass in business that puts the WNBA to shame.
Bad. I occasionally play pig, and I lose every single time. It takes me a long time to really get warmed up. But actually, Kayla and I were messaging. She's like, this is unfair. Like, I need to take you to the basketball court. Like, why are we always on a golf course? So maybe one day, but it's pretty bad. I would definitely like to use some pointers. I don't know if it's like the shot. I think it'll be more of like the movement for me.
Nelly, like any youngster, right to Instagram. This is her Instagram story. Go Indiana Fever. Lexi, Sophie, and Caitlin. What a photo. A lot of star power in Bel Air outside of Tampa at the Annika.
Take Nelly Korda, one of the best golfers on the entire planet. She didn't just give a polite hello. She actively messaged Caitlin on Instagram beforehand, spent real time with her, and made her feel like a peer. This is the exact opposite of the cold shoulders and bitter comments Caitlin faced from veterans in her own sport. Korda saw Caitlin's influence firsthand and called it amazing. She recognized greatness, while others in the WNBA saw a threat.
I actually kind of figured it out when we played last week.
Yeah? And then what happened?
Well, I haven't played since I was there that day.
Oh, really?
Then you have Annika Sorenstam, an absolute icon of the sport who organized the whole event. She went out of her way to publicly thank Caitlin for showing up, acknowledging what her presence means for women's sports as a whole. She called her an inspiration. Annika understands a fundamental rule the WNBA seems to have forgotten. When a rising tide comes to lift all boats, you don't complain about the waves. You celebrate the person who brought the tide.
There was like 4 inches on the ground in Indianapolis.
That's so nice.
I've been chilling. I've been actually doing this thing called basketball that takes up a lot of my time.
Spend time in the gym? Is that what happened on the first 2 holes? That's why you hit your putts?
But it didn't stop there. Maria Fassi, a pro golfer from Mexico, walked right up to Caitlin just to introduce herself and thank her for what she's doing. She told her she was kicking ass. Think about that. An athlete from a completely different sport with nothing to gain personally, showing genuine gratitude. Meanwhile, in the WNBA, the narrative was dominated by complaints about her fans being too loud or her getting too much media attention. The contrast is staggering.
It's been fun.
Good. And how awesome is it, too, to be able to play with Nelly and kind of take some tips and tidbits from her, because obviously she's incredible, unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few rounds with her now, so it's always fun getting to be out here and like getting to see what.
The Golf Channel's reaction tells you everything you need to know. They didn't just cover Caitlin's appearance. They moved their entire broadcast schedule up by 90 minutes just to show her play. This wasn't a small decision. This was a major network recognizing a massive opportunity. They saw a chance to partner with a superstar and grow their audience, while the WNBA spent the season fumbling the biggest opportunity in its history. The broadcast team wasn't threatened. They didn't worry she would take attention away from their pro golfers. They understood basic economics. Caitlin Clark brings eyeballs, and eyeballs bring sponsors, money, and growth for everyone. The WNBA, on the other hand, operated from a place of scarcity, acting like her popularity was a zero-sum game that somehow diminished other players. This entire event was born from pure organic demand. Rachel Demita, a sports analyst, pointed out that this Pro-Am wasn't even supposed to be on TV. Fans literally had to email the organization and beg for a way to watch Caitlin play. The LPGA saw that demand, recognized its power, and immediately acted on it. They gave the people what they wanted, a simple concept the WNBA consistently overcomplicates. And here's the most critical difference. At the golf event, not a single person complained about Caitlin getting too much attention. Nobody whined that the spotlight should be more evenly distributed. Why? Because the professional golfers understood her presence was helping them. More viewers, more media, more social media engagement. Everybody won. The WNBA is still stuck in a high school cafeteria mindset, while the LPGA is running a business. Even Steph Curry, who knows a thing or two about changing a sport, weighed in. He praised Caitlin's multi-sport talent and her incredible ability to captivate an audience, whether she's on a court or a course. But the ultimate validation came from someone else entirely. A name so big, it should make the WNBA leadership genuinely embarrassed. Tiger freaking Woods was genuinely impressed. He talked about her impact, her athleticism, and her rare talent for generating excitement. He even said he got a basketball hoping Caitlin would sign it for his daughters. Let that sink in. One of the greatest athletes in human history wanted her asterisk autograph, praising her potential as a golfer. When Tiger Woods validates you, any other criticism just sounds like noise. The WNBA had a once-in-a-generation talent land in their lap, a player who brought millions of new fans and unprecedented media coverage. Instead of building a throne for her, they let jealousy and internal politics create a narrative that she was somehow a problem. They worried about the feelings of a few veterans instead of focusing on the astronomical growth of the entire league. What's so frustrating is that Caitlin never asked for any of this. She just works hard and plays her game. The golf community saw that, respected it, and welcomed her. The LPGA proved that you can celebrate a superstar without diminishing anyone else. In fact, greatness recognizing greatness elevates everyone involved. The WNBA has no more excuses. The blueprint for success was laid out for them on a golf course, and they have to decide if they're smart enough to follow it. Let's dissect this blueprint piece by piece, because it's not just about being nice. It's about understanding the fundamental mechanics of building a billion-dollar sports enterprise. The first and most crucial component is the star system. Every single major sports league in history was built on the back of transcendent superstars. The NBA didn't become a global phenomenon because of its competitive balance in the 80s. It exploded because of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and then Michael Jordan launched it into the stratosphere. The PGA Tour wasn't a primetime spectacle before Tiger Woods. He single-handedly changed the economics of the entire sport. The LPGA understands this in its DNA. They see a star like Caitlin Clark, even a visiting one, and they instinctively know how to leverage that gravity. They put her front and center, pair her with their own stars, and create a supernova of media attention. The WNBA, conversely, seems philosophically opposed to this. They operate under a misguided belief in forced parity, where the league itself is the star. This is a fatal business error. Fans don't fall in love with leagues, they fall in love with heroes and villains, with dynasties and underdogs. By trying to suppress its brightest star out of a misplaced sense of fairness to veterans, the WNBA isn't promoting equality. It's enforcing mediocrity and guaranteeing its own niche status. This bleeds directly into the second pillar of the LPGA's masterclass, the psychology of abundance versus scarcity. The golfers on that course operated from an abundance mindset. They saw Caitlin's massive following not as a threat, but as a resource. Her fans are now their potential fans. The media covering her is now media covering them. The sponsors attracted to her are now sponsors seeing the value in their tour. The pie gets bigger for everyone. This is the mindset of growth, of confidence, of a league that sees itself as a major player. The WNBA, through its actions and the rhetoric of some of its players, has showcased a crippling scarcity mindset. It's the belief that there is a finite amount of attention, money, and respect to go around. In this view, every headline Caitlyn gets is one stolen from someone else. Every fan wearing her jersey is a fan who isn't supporting another player. This zero-sum thinking is a poison. It breeds jealousy, resentment, and self-sabotage. It's the mindset of a league perpetually stuck in a defensive crouch, fighting for scraps instead of confidently striding forward to claim the entire feast that's being offered to it. It's the difference between a business looking for new markets and a club squabbling over who gets the best seat at the table. Then there's the critical element of institutional control and narrative management. The LPGA and its media partners, like the Golf Channel, didn't wait for the story to happen, they created it. They proactively framed the event as a celebratory crossover, a celebration of female athleticism. The messaging was consistent, positive, and powerful. They told the world, look at this amazing thing happening here. This is important. Compare that to the WNBA's leadership. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's response to the early season controversies was reactive, delayed, and politically cautious. Instead of immediately and forcefully setting the narrative that hard fouls on a superstar are unacceptable, and that the league's biggest asset will be protected and celebrated, the league was silent. This silence created a vacuum, which was quickly filled by narratives of jealousy, bullying, and racial tension, much of it playing out on social media. The WNBA lost control of its own story. While the LPGA was writing a heroic tale of collaboration, the WNBA was letting its story be written by its loudest critics and its most disgruntled players. That's not just a PR failure. It's a catastrophic failure of leadership that allowed the brand to be defined by its internal conflicts rather than its generational talent. Furthermore, the LPGA demonstrated a profound understanding of customer acquisition, something the WNBA appears to find baffling. The fans who emailed and begged for a way to watch that Pro-Am were new customers. They were the Clark curious. The LPGA didn't scoff at them. They didn't call them bandwagoners or question their motives. They saw dollar signs and growth potential. They immediately pivoted their entire broadcast strategy to serve this new demand, effectively rolling out a welcome mat. This is Business 101. When a new demographic shows up at your door with money in hand, you open the door. The WNBA, in contrast, has often given the impression that it's suspicious of these new fans. The discourse from some veteran players and established media figures has often felt like a purity test, questioning if these newcomers appreciate the history of the league enough, or if they're just there for one player. This alienates the very people the league needs to survive and thrive. You don't grow a business by interrogating your new customers. You grow it by making them feel so welcome that they decide to stay long after the initial attraction has passed. The LPGA created an inclusive, exciting event for newcomers. The WNBA has, at times, created a hostile environment that feels like a private club you're not welcome to join. This all ties back to the concept of gatekeeping versus what we can call gate opening. Annika Sorenstam, Nelly Korda, and Maria Fassi acted as gate openers. They are the established, respected figures in their sport. They hold the keys to the kingdom. Instead of locking the gates to protect their own status, they threw them wide open. They used their credibility to validate Caitlyn's presence, effectively telling the world, she belongs here. Her success is our success. This is how a healthy, confident ecosystem functions. It absorbs new energy and uses it to fuel growth. In the WNBA, we've witnessed the opposite, gatekeeping. The hard fouls, the dismissive comments, the complaints about media coverage, these are all acts of gatekeeping. It's a message from a segment of the old guard that says, you haven't paid your dues. You don't get to come in here and change the rules or get the attention we feel we deserved. While the emotional roots of this feeling might be understandable given the league's long struggle for recognition, it is commercially suicidal. Gatekeeping shrinks a community. It doesn't grow one. The legends of the LPGA understand that their legacy is enhanced, not diminished, by welcoming the next generation of stars, regardless of what sport they come from. Finally, let's talk about the tangible financial implications, because this isn't just about feelings and optics. The Pro-Am was a brilliant, low-risk, high-reward business development exercise. The sponsors of that event, like the Century, got millions of dollars in earned media value. The Golf Channel saw a ratings spike. The social media accounts of every player who interacted with Clark saw a massive surge in engagement. This is real, measurable ROI. They created a product, Caitlyn Clark playing golf, and monetized it instantly. Now imagine if the WNBA had adopted this mindset from day one. Imagine a preseason WNBA All-Stars versus Caitlyn's select team exhibition broadcast on a major network. Imagine proactive cross-promotions with the NBA, leaning on stars like Steph Curry and LeBron James to amplify her arrival. They could have created countless products and moments to capitalize on the hype. Instead, they just started the season. They treated the biggest marketing gift in their history like it was just another Tuesday. They allowed cheap shots and bitter commentary to dominate the news cycle, devaluing their own product in the process. Every positive news cycle is an opportunity to sell tickets, merchandise, and attract corporate partners. By fumbling the narrative, the WNBA has actively cost itself millions of dollars and squandered the kind of momentum that money can't even buy. The LPGA didn't just host a golf game. They put on a clinic in brand building and revenue generation that the WNBA seemingly slept through. The question is no longer if the WNBA can learn from this. It's whether they'll choose to before this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is gone for good.